One of the things that's interesting about what's happened in our industry is the terminology we use or traditionally have used in this business. Simple words like television and what that means. And a lot of people like to think about it as all video. I've often talked about the fact I think there's still a somewhat difference between the idea of all video consumption and what I think of as the business of TV, which is clearly morphing and being defined in plenty new ways. But I'm not so sure that it's all-encompassing of all video consumption being part of the TV business as we might think of it. What's your take on that?
So it's an interesting question, because coming from the business side of it, we still see there's very specific differences between, as you said before we got on camera, linear television versus a YouTube view. But as you watch children and the changing consumption habits of consumers, I don't know that it's as clearly defined anymore. Because you see people watching short form and earned content and, long form infomercials and unboxing videos right alongside of traditional serialized content or traditional sports and news. And so I think for the consumer, it's becoming more blurred, but for the industry, we're not, we have to kind of get there and figure out who we are and what we do.
There's no doubt the consumer is ahead of us, I think, as part of that
Always.
point, which I think probably is a big reason why you guys are as focused on the importance of things like set-top box data and census level viewer data, I would guess, right?
Exactly. So audience, being able to, to sell to an audience and to measure the impact on an audience really at the household level as opposed to on a panel level is critically important, because the differences that are occurring in consumption of traditional television along with the, insurgence of digital video, it matters, and you have to look at it as a comprehensive ecosystem. I do find it interesting that we're getting more and more questions about also potential valuations of things like earned video, earned media, and then things like sponsorship, where the visibility of the logo within the video stream needs to be measured as well, and there are companies that are doing that. So you have all the pieces, but it's sort of a mishigas of different things, right? It's a bit of a mess, but it's all there. So that's where I think you get to this conversation about common currency and the ability to optimize a schedule and optimize your media spend. But you have kroners and pounds and euros and dollars and all these different currencies that are hard to compare apples to apples.
Which speaks to that the core, the business, however exactly defined, is in a period of rapid transformation.
Exactly.
Again, driven by consumer behavior changes, as you've mentioned. I assume that shifts power among the different constituents, whether you're a programmer, a systems operator, a quote-unquote new MVPD.
Right.
How do you see that shaking out? What are the opportunities and maybe the risks for different players in the space?
Well, it's definitely interesting times, right? I mean, traditional MVPDs are trying to figure out where consumers go. Do they continue to pay a monthly cable subscription? Thankfully for them, I think when you look at some of the over-the-top subscription services, they are usually in addition to a traditional cable television subscription or satellite TV subscription, but that may change over time. I think there's a cap at what people are willing to spend on entertainment, especially if they feel that the content is commoditized. So as a cable operator, your question might be to a programmer, why should I pay you this much when it's no longer uniquely mine, what I'm buying from you? Like, I'm getting a network and the content is there, but if I really asked a subscriber, as some cable operators and satellite providers have done, to say, can you live without that channel? In some cases they can, because the content can be found in other places. And if you're buying something that's no longer really exclusive, should you be paying as much? That's a question. But for the programmers, the challenge to continue to create content and spend what they spend, including Netflix and the other over-the-top providers, there's this expense to run those businesses, and they need, ideally multiple revenue streams in affiliate revenue and in advertising revenue. But in the case of a non-ad supported service like Netflix, they need a reason, they need an ability to monetize what they're spending on content, which I think is in the billions of dollars a year. So there's definitely some tension there, but I think in a strange way the ultimate beneficiary is the consumer, because there's more stuff to watch, it's available in more places, and then you layer in just the changing technology that facilitates IP video on mobile and through Wi-Fi all over the place. I think content will continue to be consumed, and hopefully more so than ever. So it's just a matter of, again, the ecosystem catching up to say, how can we deliver customers what they need in a way that allows everybody to be successful.